Hey, Marth, we're back.
We are back, baby.
Oh, dear.
How are you? This is the second day in a row.
No.
Is it not?
No. It's Thursday today and we recorded on
One
Tuesday.
thing about life at Co-Break is the weeks just fly by.
Everything merges into one. Yeah, it's like a bank holiday weekend this weekend as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So Monday and Friday, we're not here.
Friday?
We're going to...
Not all day, surely.
Oh, it's far away.
Where is it?
Ipswich.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, he told me he was in the Midlands.
No.
Who's driving there?
Well, us, apparently. I'll confirm address, but I'm pretty sure it's miles away.
Oh, my God. I mean, can't wait to go and see them.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is a trek. Probably should have thought about that a bit more.
I think they've got a few offices, so I'll check.
Yeah,
Well, I know they
he
have.
said he was like
Well, he might be.
near Coventry or something, he'd said to me.
No, he's definitely near London. He is, but then I don't know where the main warehouse is in Ipswich. But
Lloyd will meet you in Shrewsbury.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So this episode, it's actually titled "She Climbed the Trek Without Me." It's a very self-indulgent episode about my birthday, but basically, my wife, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but she had a pretty major operation last year, and before the operation was booked, we walked into Trail Finders. Other reputable travel agents are available, and I arranged a holiday of a lifetime that was on both of our bucket lists for something for her to look forward to on the other side of being in a wheelchair. Because it's hard to know that you could be in a wheelchair for like 3 to 6 months and over Christmas, and you've got a niece and a nephew and stuff. It's actually quite a lot to deal with. And so, yeah, we booked a trip to Borneo, and within that there's some like nature trekking and cultural stuff with tribes, and then taking in beaches and cities and stuff. And the one thing that we put in was to go to Coffin Cliff Point in Danham Valley, which is like the oldest rainforest in the world. They discover new species there all the time. It's like remote. It's 130 million years old, if not older. And there's this viewpoint in it that apparently when you get there, you look over the rainforest, and the rainforest is so dense, it looks like water.
Is that to do with like the mist as well?
Well, maybe, but I don't know, because I never fucking got there. And this was going to be like an epic celebration of Hannah's recovery, and a really big deal for me. And then the night before my birthday, I got really ill in the jungle and woke up hoped it was just like a 24-hour thing.
I'm tired.
Woke up on my birthday and it was like, I can't actually get out of bed. You're going to have to do this without me. And at this point, we'd only had one practice trek, and she'd borrowed some sticks off a guide. And she did well, but it was like shit. And so off she trotted that day to go and do this thing, and I couldn't go. And I'm not going to lie, I had a little cry to myself. You know, selfishly, I also wanted to see it and see the wildlife you see on the way. And then I also wanted to see Hannah achieve that, and that got taken away from me. But when you've got 9 hours on your own to sort of, if anyone can hear a licking noise, the dog is going to town on my legs.
It's so funny. It's very cute, but it's very funny.
Yeah, he just wants attention.
And the way you just like went through that, like it's like wasn't even happening.
Strolls in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get to go, and I felt sorry for myself for a little bit, and then I realised that actually her being able to do that by herself was even more epic. Without.
Did she have a moment of like, oh, I won't go then?
No, not once.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on the cards. No one was staying behind to look after me. Bollocks. Like, I'll be all right. It's just a bit of a cold or whatever. But just the fact that when we did the trek the night before, she was constantly checking to see if she was okay with me. And it's like, if you take away the safety net,
yeah,
it becomes fight or flight, and she hasn't really got any flight about her. So she did it, and she was really, really proud of herself. And I guess like the analogy and the reason I've brought it to the podcast is that same thing happens for me with staff, and it happens for me with clients, where I can guide you to where you need to be, and I can kind of want to be a part of that. But ultimately, it's your journey to take, whether it's staff or clients. So like, I can get client leads, I can help them understand what to do with the leads, but it's up to them to convert the leads and turn them into sales.
And retain.
And it's their glory.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I've been a part of it, but it's their glory, and that's fine. And the same with staff. Like, I can give you all the tools, I can show you how to do it every time, but until I stop showing you how to do it and tell you how to figure it out for yourself, you're never going to be as good as you could be. And I just thought that was like an interesting lesson to come from the jungle, and the last lesson we'll be talking about on the podcast from the jungle. So, yeah, discuss.
It's interesting you say that, because I can remember so many times, not so much remember now, but when I look back at where I first started at Codebreak and where I am now, I do things like daily now that would terrify me. I used to be like, not terrified, but like nervous every time I'd get on a call with a client.
Yeah.
And now it's like my diary's just full of client calls, and I love it.
Yeah,
but there had to be a point where it was like, I would either take the call with you or one of the other senior execs at the time, where it's like, you're on your own. And I remember thinking, shit, and now I'm at the point where it's like, I look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I was so scared at the time, and like, how do you get through that like shit without
experience? You only build up resilience by doing it. And
I think you've got like you have to have something there that the expectation is you're going to do it. Like, someone's relying on you to do it. Like, you say you're going to do it. If you're just like, oh, I'm maybe going to do this thing, you'll never do it. Right?
Yeah. I have that about me. Like, I've got something in the works at the moment, and I've told a few people about it just to make myself publicly accountable. I'm going to do this. And normally when I say, because I'm an idiot, normally they're pretty unbelievable things. But it's like, now I've told someone, I don't want to make a fool out of myself. So it's going to happen.
Who have you told? Just interested.
Coffee Paul. I tell Coffee Paul quite a lot of stuff. I tell Ben Knight quite a lot of stuff. Shout out Ben Knight, bought me a sword yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to see. It's on the Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. It's a Japanese broadsword, like nearly 2 meters long.
It's like, if Ben was I don't think he'd be able to. It's so big. Like, you're tall. Like, when you were like pretending, like, how would it look on your back? I was like, a normal sized person.
Oh, it wouldn't be a useful weapon for Ben, yeah.
Or anyone under 6 foot.
Yeah, I think so. It's big.
And heavy.
But Ben wouldn't struggle with the weight. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think he might be an axe man.
I think he might be like a knuckle duster man. Or
like one of those, I don't know what they're called. You know, the ball on the end of a chain with spikes on it, just like charging towards you with a cocktail in his other hand.
This is a fun game. What would be my weapon?
Do you think you're hand-to-hand combat or combat at distance?
I think I'm combat with passion. Like, get angry.
Yeah, but you'll get yourself killed. That's my worry.
Yeah, but I'm not very... am I calm under pressure?
Are you front line, or are you like... Because I feel like I'm front line. Not in like a boastful way, just in a like, this is fucking scary, therefore I've got to conquer it way. Like, in an idiotic way, really. And I think Ben is front line. I feel like you're a bit smarter than both of them. Like,
I'm also,
are you an archer?
Yeah, maybe.
Trebuchet.
I don't know what that is.
It's that like massive thing. They wheel it out on wood, and it's like a catapult. It's got a massive rock in one end, and when you flick the thing, it launches a rock at the castle.
Or a person. Maybe you could be in it.
They launch dead bodies or live bodies if you want, but that's fucking mental. See, you are the trebuchet person.
Look at my foot.
George, the dog, is chewing Hannah's feet.
Hannah?
Arthur's feet.
Georgie.
Hey. He's used to chewing Hannah's feet. That's right.
And she doesn't notice.
Hey, come here. This is making for a great episode, George. Thank you. So, yeah. He sent me a sword. I don't know how we got to that.
What an epic birthday present as well.
Oh, honestly, like, it's my favourite present. And I can say that this year because Hannah didn't get me a present this year. Because we went to Borneo. So, actually, I've had some fucking ace presents this year. And some weird ones.
It's amazing when you get a present and you're like, who sent me this present?
My brother and sister-in-law got me Wacky Races box set, and I loved that when I was a kid. And a shirt to go with it. A Wacky Races shirt.
In the box, as in video?
DVD, not video.
I don't know.
The 90s.
I don't know when you were watching it. You just said, I used to love it.
Yeah, I didn't have the box set when I was a kid. It was on telly.
Okay, I don't know what it is, so...
Do you know who Dick Dastardly and Muttley are? Penelope Pitstop?
Nope.
Peter Perfect.
From Horrid Henry?
The Anthill Mob?
No. What is it? A
Creepy
cartoon?
Coop. Yeah, it's a cartoon, and every episode there's all these different race drivers, and they're all weird characters. And Dick Dastardly and Muttley are the main characters, but they always try and cheat their way to win, and so they never win. And the outcome is, like, the lesson for the kid is you can't cheat your way to victory.
Okay, so like Scooby-Doo when it was
like,
always a person
and very
under.
often when they're not cheating, they'll be in the lead. And then they'll try and set a trap for the others, and it backfires and they end up falling into their own trap or whatever. So it's like, it's good. It's a good cartoon. It's made by the same people as Yogi Bear and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a classic, and it's funny. It's got adult humour in it. All the racing cars are different themes. So there's 2 cavemen in one, and theirs is like a rock, and then there's a group of monsters in another, and theirs is like a haunted house. And it's just silly. But then they got me a shirt that's got each of the vehicles on it.
What, like one shirt for each?
No, like...
Oh, it's got all of them.
Yeah, so it's like a Hawaiian shirt, but instead of
oh, yes, I have
flowers,
seen the picture.
it's got different cars on it. That was epic. My brother got me the original Turtles cartoon box set. I mean, there's a bit of a theme here, but so that was fucking ace.
Your DVD player is going to be
I got PS5.
smoking.
I don't think I've ever put a DVD in it. Who does that now? But it's happening.
Are you going to watch them or are you going to display them?
No, these are for watching. They're not like collector's edition or anything. It's just stuff that I wanted. So the actual thinking is, because I've got a nephew and he's coming to the age when I started watching these cartoons, I can sit and watch them with him.
That's sweet, yeah.
Because like he watches like Bluey or whatever, and it's good. And he watches Peppa Pig, and it's good.
Peppa Pig.
But it's like, I don't know. My cartoons were better.
Yeah. And you can enjoy
Like,
them.
I want like the Looney Tunes box set for the same thing, like Bugs Bunny and Tweety Pie and stuff. And I appreciate they're probably a bit violent by today's standards, but it never did me any harm, man.
Yeah. Get him on COD next.
Yeah. Do you want to play Grand Theft Auto? Joel, I'm 3.
I actually, Jason's nephew was telling me about going to his friend's house and playing, and I was thinking, I don't know if your mum knows
How old
about
is
that.
he?
He's like 10.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Or maybe they don't know what it is.
Well, if you don't, I think that's poor parenting. Cause
You've just got to do a quick Google search,
information's
right?
very available, yeah. Like, and look, if you haven't heard of Grand Theft Auto, my nan's heard of Grand Theft Auto. She's in her 80s.
Would she stop you playing it? She cool nan? Or is she a regular nan?
She's like the one pimping people out, driving around. No, she's not at all. She's very Shropshire. So
Take
she
of
might
that
make
what you
a
will.
jam sandwich to eat while she plays. So,
A jam cob.
there's a funny story about my nan at the moment. This podcast is all over the shop, but she's got dementia. That's not the funny bit. 2 funny stories. One, I don't really want to tell on the podcast, but I will. And the second, I think, is lovely. So the first one is she sent me a birthday card, a very inappropriate birthday card that she didn't realise was inappropriate.
Why?
Because the front said, "Do you remember when waking up stiff in the morning and when you open it, it said, was a good thing?"
What did she think?
From my nan.
What did she think it meant?
Well, she doesn't think anymore because her brain doesn't work like that.
So she just picked the first.
Yeah, but the worst part of that story is she ran it past my mum before it got posted to me.
And she...
And my mum thought it was hilarious.
Okay, that's a good call from mum.
It's funny, but embarrassing. The other one is because my nan's regressed a bit because she's like struggling with her dementia. The other day she was found down the park with one of her mates on the swings.
Oh.
Because that's what they used to do when they were kids.
Did they have a bottle of vodka?
No. That was the dog, if anyone heard that. We might have to get him out of the room for the next recording. So, yeah, probably should get back on track. But
You can come, but
the point being that, when we've mentioned it on the podcast before, we're not the main characters in our client's story. I'm not the main character in your staff story. George is desperately trying to get on.
You can jump on. But I'm not.
He wants you to lift him up. The fuss that this dog is making.
Do you have anything to say, sir?
George is in the podcast officially. Good lad. No, don't do that. So, yeah, to get back on topic, it's about guiding people to their destination. That's what leadership is, running a business is, being a good husband is, being a good wife.
What steps can you take to do that with your staff? Like, what have you found the most effective?
It's different for each member of the team.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on disc profiling, and it's been so interesting. It sounds really boring.
I'm not that much of a fan.
Okay,
I think to categorise people into 4 things is too basic.
No, that I agree, but that I agree with. But the analogy that she gave really helped me understand why sometimes
you clash with certain people.
Or I wasn't going to say that.
Or you don't understand certain people. Or, it doesn't necessarily mean colleagues. It doesn't.
More like if you ask someone to do something. So, like for example, even like at home with Jace, like if I say to you, think of the colour green, and I'm thinking of the colour green, what colour green are you thinking of? Is it like a forest green? Just think of green. What is the colour that comes to mind?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that colour is that's in my head now, because I just thought of green, because that's what you told me to do.
The word green.
Apple green.
And I'm thinking of like a deep, dark forest green.
Yeah.
And so if I said to you, paint the wall green, to me, I'm expecting forest green. I'm going to come in, it's going to be forest green, and you've painted it apple green. And I've given you the instruction in my head that is like super obvious, and you've taken the instruction and done it, but it's just your context is different because you've had different life experiences and you just like a different colour green. And so that really helped me to understand that, so sometimes I'll ask someone to do something and they won't do it. And I'm like, what? How can you not understand this? It's like so obvious to me. And the way that she said that you should say like, obviously you can't do this for every task in the business because it would not be profitable, but like, okay, can you just tell me what you think I've asked you to do so I can check you've understood my instructions clearly? Yeah,
that's good. Like EDGE method. Yeah. Educate, demonstrate, guide, empower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you tell educating is telling someone what to do, demonstrating is demonstrating what you want. So in your case, I'd like the wall to be green. This is how I'd like you to paint it, and here's the paint. So now you know the colours right. Guide, right, I'm going to watch you have a go. Yeah, you're doing a great job. I'm going to leave you to it. Empower. And that's how you avoid that. Now, where I struggle with that, and it's a bit of a recurring theme, deadlines. I don't know how to communicate with someone who doesn't understand deadlines, how important a deadline is.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to your original point. How do you guide different members of the team to achieve different things? So we've had various characters here. So Evie doesn't work here anymore, left to be self-employed, left on great terms. She was very much like a meticulous person. So she liked to do things in order, at a steady pace, and to a standard. She wasn't bullying a china shop at all. She was very like detail oriented and calm. And so to get her to push her boundaries, you kind of had to like, in quite depth, show her the path to that new destination. Because without every step along the way, she wouldn't take that step. Now, that's not a slight on her at all. That's just the way her brain worked. Now, with you, normally the best way to tell you you can't do something is to tell you to get you to do something is to tell you you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is for you. Sometimes you decide it's not for you and then decide to disprove yourself, which is something that's going on at the moment with people management. I fucking hate managing people. Next thing you know, get your appraisal form. I'd like to be able to manage people better. Well, which one is it?
No, I think I am better, but it's not what I love doing.
But
actually, I think I maybe do. Do you know what I find it hard with managing people is that, like you said, you can't force them to do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have high expectations of myself and my work. And when you're managing people, they are your work.
You're like, if someone told me to do something, I'd fucking do it. So why aren't you? And then it's hard to compute that. But then other people are like, when people tell me to do something, I do the opposite. And you have to deal, as a leader, you have to be able to deal with that.
And you need all the people.
Yeah, you need all.
Can't have 10 balls.
Yeah, it can't be like client B rings up and doesn't want to speak to me or you because we're too direct, and we're like, well, sorry, all 10 other people here are direct as well.
Yeah.
It's like, we haven't got someone for you. Go fuck yourself. Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've had to like learn different ways to try and understand people and try and help them get the best out of themselves. Certainly you, Evie, we had an employee called Ben. I felt like I really could get the best out of you. And all three of you are quite different characters. We've had other employees where I was like banging my head against the wall. It was like, it doesn't matter what I say, you just look at me with a vacant expression. And it was like, maybe we're just not compatible as humans. It was like, everything I say, I think to you sounds like bollocks. And everything you say to me also sounds like bollocks. So how are we going to resolve this?
Yeah.
And then I've met other people who are like, it's not about compatibility. It's about, they're not perhaps ambitious in that way. They just want to do the doing. They don't want to like get to the next step or crack the code. They just want to like come to work and do a good day's work and go home, which I don't relate to because that's not who I am, but I massively respect it. Every business needs those people.
Yeah, everyone needs a soldier, don't they?
Yeah.
It's almost like you almost like don't want, well, I don't know, like that, exactly what happened with Evie. And I guess is the risk with hiring ambitious people is that they're probably going to want they're probably going to be like,
they're
I can do
want
this.
To take over or leave.
Yeah.
But then I want Codebreak to be so good for the team that leaving is a really difficult decision. And I think for Evie it was.
Yeah.
I think she found it emotional. But then like I could speak to her on any given day and our relationship is great. And same with Ben. Like he left because he got an incredible offer in an environment very different to Codebreak and he wanted to see what that was like. And I totally respect that. That's not... there's sometimes people have left in the past where I felt like you're just on the cusp of promotion, you could be awesome, and you've like taken the easy way out. But then that's me impressing my personality on their behaviour because they might be like, well, it's just that's not important to me.
Yeah.
I would like to go and do this thing, and that's okay. So sometimes like the leadership thing is finding out what motivates people or what makes people feel like they have purpose, because motivation's a bit wishy-washy. It comes and goes. You know, you can't be motivated 5 days a week. It's not real life.
Well, your dog dies.
So they've got to be excited about the outcome, not necessarily the journey.
Which we spoke about in the last podcast.
Yeah. And then also empowering them to do it. And like, you might have noticed because you've just done some leadership training, but one of the things I do is show people how to do things, give them the tools to do it, and then I just take a step back and see how they get on. And I keep doing that over and over again. And different people react differently. So you normally pick things up quite quickly, and then you're like, okay, what's next? Other people regress into, can you just show me again? Or can I just check this with you? And some people just don't get it at all. And so I have to keep like...
I think I used to be a checker though, until I got the confidence in my own skills. But also like, it's easier to say, can you check this? Because then you diminish responsibility. Yeah. It's like, ooh, which I'm happy to do. Like, obviously our team right now is very, very new still. Like,
Yeah.
so there's still like, just learning
asking
along,
for reassurance,
which I'm happy. Like more, this isn't.
Yeah, and like
I'm really excited
like
about the team we have now.
management part of that is like, you can keep asking me for reassurance, you can keep asking my opinion, as long as you do the basics.
Okay,
You keep up your side of the bargain.
what like the thing I find hard as well is that like I know my problem is holding everything close to my chest because I want to do it, and I definitely, the problem I have is like, oh, I could just do it in 5 minutes, and like passing it over to someone else is like, oh, well, what if it goes wrong, and then I've got to like explain to the client. Like I don't want.
That's the nature, isn't it?
I know.
Like, if you think I was
so
self-employed to start with no team, and it all rided on me, and then I had to get used to the idea of.
How was that initial
horrendous
transition? How did you started with one member of staff, and then
me on my own? Then Fergus came on board, and then I remember the first holiday I went on where I said to Fergus, "I'm going off comms."
Did you?
Yeah, and you've got to do the next 5 days without me. Handled it pretty well.
Were you scared? How tempted were you to get back onto? I think this is really insightful for like maybe like business people who are like in that transition period or have staff and like have all these.
I used to go on holiday. I remember the first time I went on holiday when Fergus was working here was to Canada, and I was getting up 4 hours before Hannah every day to do some work and check all the emails and check all the comms. And I was knackered when I got back off that holiday. And so I just promised myself, I'm never fucking doing that again. Like,
And I don't think it's that helpful because you don't. So I did this to Scott when I was on the training day, and I was like, I'm going off comms because I'm here and I'm doing training and that's what I'm doing. And I like just quickly checked in on lunch, and I just saw one message, and I like immediately texted, and I was like, just think about how you're replying to things. And then I stepped back and I was like, no, that was actually fine. Like, it's just because it wasn't the way I would have replied to it, and I have more context about what's going on with that client, but the way he handled it. And I had to be like, oh, I'm sorry, Scott, like I actually should have just stayed off comms because you had it all handled, but it just wasn't the way I would have done it. And then I was immediately like, what? And so I think almost they're like just letting.
Yeah, and you have to let people make their own mistakes, which as the business owner is really hard, because it feels like those mistakes are going to reflect on your reputation. But you should have checks and balances in place that those mistakes can happen without becoming public.
Yeah.
So like, oh, you've done a shit job of that web page, but fortunately we've caught it before it's been launched.
Or you give the deadline earlier than what the actual.
Yeah, or like
wiggle room.
You're not quite writing this in a way that is going to hook people in. But the good news is it's not live yet. That's like, you have to have checks and balances, but you have to empower people to make mistakes. And then as people become more senior, those mistakes do become more public. And that is the nature of business. Like when I went to Canada, I didn't have a business. I had a job.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't leave it and it still work. So then a year later I went to New York and I went off comms and it was fine. The thing that I struggle with, and most small business owners would struggle with, is when you do go off comms, it's quite hard for the business to grow in that period unless you've got like a business development manager or your team are really clued up on like referrals and upsells and stuff. And so there is sacrifice. There's always compromise. Bit like that with the Hannah story. Like my ego was screaming to be able to get to that viewpoint just for me. But also I desperately wanted to see my wife achieve that, not just hear about it. But in hindsight, was that the best thing for her? Or is it amazing for her to come home and be able to like tell her loved ones, I did it and Joel wasn't there to help me? That's fucking epic. A little bit sore for me. But would it be better if you got like £1 million breakthrough on one of your clients and they upgraded to platinum? Or would it be better if I intervened and made that happen? Well, it would be better if I didn't have to intervene, even though my ego would quite like to have some credit for that. Like there's still credit. I can still take a step back and be like, well, I supported my wife for 6 months while she was ill. so that she was able to then go and do that thing. Or I trained Martha to get her to the place where she's confident enough to upgrade a client without my help. I mean, there's joy in that, but just you don't have to be the main character.
Yeah, you don't have to be the hero. The client's the hero.
Yeah. Right.
Donald Miller says.
He does, yeah. But the hero's journey, you're the guide, not the hero. So, yeah, as the owner, you can't be in every key moment, and that's fine. And if you want to be in every key moment, you've given yourself a job, not a business. And I'm finding that now because I'm essentially running 2.5 businesses at the moment with a third one on the way. And I just can't do it all. And so I have to take joy in seeing it do it for itself. And I guess I like being a parent, being a husband, being a wife, being a friend. Being a good leader means lifting others up, not taking the credit for yourself. Very rarely does a football manager claim that they won the FA Cup.
Yeah, but a football manager is the manager, right? I feel like as a business owner, you wear lots of different hats. It's tricky to find that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Well, then the owner of Manchester United, it's a terrible. The owner of Liverpool doesn't say, I won the Premier League. The team won the Premier League and I own the team. And that's fine. That's reward enough. And that's just about taking your ego out of the equation, really. Like, and when you dampen that down, I was talking to someone yesterday about in business, it's not about being excited or full of fire, and it's not about being sad or stuck in the mud. It's about being level-headed and egoless, because that's where your best decisions come from.
Detach it. How do you detach? Because I do think my ego drives me. It does me well sometimes because I'm like
your fear of failure,
yeah,
which is led by your ego. Yeah,
pushes me to be better. If I didn't care if I failed,
yeah, so it's great. It's great fuel, but if your ego led, it can also be a horrible thing to trip up on. Whereas, like, I get more joy out of seeing other people achieve things now than I do out of achieving them myself. It's really nice.
How did you get to that place?
I realised I had really high expectations on myself, and so when I achieve things, there isn't actually that much joy in it.
I had this exact conversation with a client.
Yeah. And so if there's not much joy in me achieving things, where can I find joy? And if that's in other people achieving things, which means I'm also achieving things, that's cool, because that's like societal impact. Suddenly you're like making people greater than they thought they could be, which is like lovely. And that's how I felt with Hannah. It's like she did the trek without me, and now in hindsight I wouldn't change it. Did
she give you a photo?
What I thought you were going to say then.
Did you get a photo of the, like, you could pretend you were there? You live vicariously through Hannah.
Yeah, I've put the photo of her on my LinkedIn and wrote a story akin to what we're talking about now.